Hello and welcome to We the People. At We the People, we are building a critical mass of social justice watchers. And as part of that bigger picture, we are having the Gentech. The Gentech is an intergenerational conversation in which we have discussions on matters social, political, economic for as long as they affect the ordinary Ugandan. My name is Edmund Ayesigwa Akankwasa, and for this particular episode, we'll be discussing women at the forefront of change in this country. Well, we cannot erase the work that women have done for change in this country. Women have participated, women have been at the forefront of fighting for a better Uganda, but there are many questions. We would ask, have the results of the women that fought before yielded in this generation? Is it different when it is women at the forefront of activism? So in this discussion, we'll wear a gendered lens to look at activism from the perspective of women and the issues that affect them, right? So joining me to have this conversation is Aloykin Praise-Opoloje. Aloykin Praise-Opoloje is a law student at Makerere University. She is a social justice activist and also a feminist. Good to have you, Praise.
Thank you so much, Edmund. I'm glad to be here.
Also joining me for this conversation is Mutuzo Michelin. Mutuzo is also a law student. She is a feminist and a social justice activist. Good to have you, Mutuzo.
Thank you for having me.
Now let's get into the conversation, and I'll start with you, Praise. You have been at the forefront of fighting for change in this country in the past few months. Have you faced issues where you say, if I wasn't a woman, I wouldn't be in this place? Okay.
The answer to that is a definite yes, because as women, as a group of people that have been marginalized for a long time, you come to realize that there's an intersectionality of how women are affected by certain circumstances, no matter the environment. Is it in school? Is it, in the medical field? Is it in the professional field? And that same reality manifests itself even in activism. I've been with quite a group of young women at the forefront, especially during the March to Parliament organization, mobilization, and post that. And for me, what stands out for me is the fact that when you're a woman, everything about you will be sexualized. Like, people are not even waiting for the content of what you're bringing out. Even some are negative, like when you see it, it's negative immediately, but others are subtle. For example, someone will comment, oh, I like her, this one is my wife, this one is my this, I have a crush on her, oh my God, her lips this, her body this, her that, which takes away from the essence of what you're trying to speak about. But others are, they are negative. You see them and they are negative. She's ugly, how are you telling us about this, go do that, and stuff like that. But also when I'm arrested, or when I've been arrested before, you realize that the treatment that you're given as a woman, especially one that decides to stand up and speak up, is a lot more different, because everyone is asking themselves, how dare you? How dare you speak up? How dare you speak up for yourself? Like, you're a woman, why are you doing this? I remember when we had been arrested during the March to Parliament the first time, and they were picking up George and trying to, beat him because he kept resisting and telling them, we're not going to stop protesting, and, speaking back to them. And they tried to drag him, and I was like, you're not taking him anywhere. So I grabbed George by his legs, and they're like, huh? This small woman here. They got me, they beat me up, and they were beating me up like, let the others see and make sure they don't even try to do what they're doing, what she's doing, and stuff like that. So there is that from the state, from the individuals themselves. And there is this whole, I don't know how to put it. I don't know if I'm allowed to mention names of people here, but there's a lot of erasure for women in the activism field, that the effort they have put in, like a woman, you make one mistake and they don't give you a chance to redeem yourself. Like, it's not like for a man. A man could be a deadbeat, a man could beat up his wife, it's okay, you can always come back in the system and that past of yours will be let go. But you be, for example, a single mother, you make a mistake and you do something funny with someone in the club, it will go with you and they want to erode you from this scene, erode you from the achievements of the things that you've done. So yes, I have experienced.
So just before we get off that point and before I come to Mutuzo, are there personal limitations? Like you are not facing this from the public, but as a woman, you have personal limitations to doing these things.
Yes, there are personal limitations. For example, I have a daughter, I have a child, and I'm raising her largely as a single parent. And she's just 1.5. So you can imagine how much I have to pep talk myself, to take myself to the street and get shot. But also society is judging you. I remember I had a comment from the father of my child, and he was saying, you see, she doesn't even care about her child. Like, she's going there to die. She doesn't even care what will happen to her child post this and stuff like that. And it's not the first person who told me that. Even my mother, who loves me so much, in her own desire to protect me, is quick to tie me down by reminding me of the role I have to play in my child's life and stuff like that. So there is that motherly guilt, a guilt that women carry, even not just activists, you have your dreams, but once you give birth, you're the one to think, okay, I think I shouldn't go to school further, I should chop that a bit, I should stay home a bit, I can't go for masters, I can't go for a job abroad. So that mother's guilt still carries in, even in certain circumstances. But also, I cannot freely go to certain places, speak to certain groups of people, especially physically, because you're scared of being sexually assaulted. You'll be thinking you're talking to someone normally. Before you know it, they are starting to ask you if they can get under your skirts or touching you inappropriately. So yes, there are limitations. And sometimes you think twice and you're like, okay, I think I should hold back a bit. I think I shouldn't do this. They create some sort of fear, but it's a lot different for me because I'm like a mother. So the mother's guilt actually gets to me. So I have to do like a lot of pep talk. I have a lot of mental barriers, to fight, to say this is the right thing and I'm doing it for my child too in the long run. Yeah.
Let me come to you, Mutuzo. And Praise talked about how before you even release your content, no one wants to listen to what it is that you are saying. And you have been at the receiving end from Twitter. You have been at the receiving end from Twitter. How do you handle that pressure and reconcile it with I have a principle I am doing. I won't let this pressure get to me.
Before I answer your question, I just have to say this. I respect praise so much. No, like for real, because for me, mom guilt wins each time. No one has to guilt trip me, okay? Not my baby daddy, not my parents, not the person I'm in a relationship with. No one has to guilt trip me. I will do it myself. I will do it myself, and each time my mom guilt will win.
Yeah.
Like there's no single day where it has not won. We go and protest? Me? Absolutely not. Besides being such a coward, I am such a coward, and I tell it to people so much. Like me, everyone has a role in a movement, okay? Everyone has a part that they get to play in such situations. My part cannot be the part where I actually walk into police and like people that are going to practically shoot you and not think twice about it because of one reason. I cannot imagine a space where my daughter goes 2 nights without talking to me. She will kill someone at home. Okay? Now for me, my mom guilt, no one has to do it for me. It will win each and every time. It will win. Like there's no second thought. Yeah, it will win. And I think if someone asked me my greatest weakness in my activism space or the things that I fight for, it is that that there's no way around it. There's no therapist, there's no pep talk, there's no motivation, there's no Mandela I will look at and feel like we can do this. I'm not joking. That thing that could motivate me to take that extra step, it does not exist. My mom guilt will win each time. So I respect you guys. Like, I respect you, because I look at the Nyanjuras, the Winnies, the Agathas, and I'm like, guys, I have one child and I cannot get out of my house. You have 2, 3, you have a newborn. I respect you, because it could never be me. Okay, like, it can never be me. But going back to the question that you answered, I have this, do I call it a principle or something that I go by that says, you will listen to me, my friend. I don't you can either do it willingly, or I will shove that message down your throat. I will give you time to recover. So I'm like, yeah. And no, it's not easy. Social media gives me so much anxiety. Like, I talk about it so much. It gives me so much anxiety. I will go nights without sleeping because I was being abused on social media. And like, people will meet me out there and say, oh my God, you take it with so much grace. You don't, like, when I say I cross like a line and abuse someone, right? In quotes, I will not be vulgar. I'll probably just swear or say something sarcastic. Like, there's people that will really go all out on you. And then people are like, but for you, people abuse you and you take it with grace. Sometimes I'll even respond to someone and then people will be replying like, come on, I expected, exactly. But I don't do that. The idea is, you saw it. I say deadbeats should pay school fees for their kids. It's okay. As you abuse me, you saw it. Yeah. You read it. You are very pissed because it probably struck a nerve. I am sorry. Actually, no, I am not sorry. You saw it. So now that you're angry about it, let's give it 2 weeks, okay? We will come back to it. Let's give it 2 weeks. We will
compulsory therapy session.
I am not kidding. That's my principle. Wow. It is, you will listen to me. You will get the message today. It will be kind of, guys, this is what single moms are going through. Pola, right? I am not trying to fight with you. Kind, and we are trying to reason. And then tomorrow, okay, we will fight. We will fight. I will shove that message down your throat. Then we will fight. And then tomorrow we will talk about consent, okay? You will understand it, I promise. So today it will be kindness, and then it will be me bargaining with people to understand it. Like, guys, this is what we're trying to say. When a woman says, don't touch me, okay? Don't touch her. I am begging you, kind. And in that moment, I will not fight anyone. You will abuse me. You will tear me apart. It will get to a point where it's now getting to me. And I have a friend called Pia that always texts me and says, hey, don't forget to log out when it gets to you, okay? Don't forget to log out when it gets to you. And I will not fight you there. So for me, that's it. It's exhausting. It is stressful. It gives me so much anxiety. It genuinely tears me apart. And I have a problem. It's both a weakness and a strength that I have so much empathy, right? So if they're tearing a girl apart because someone leaked her notes because she refused to say pay, I am like genuinely hurt, okay? I am hurt. I am pained for that person. I will be fighting their war like it's my notes that were leaked, okay? Because I have too much empathy. It drains me. And then before I know it, I'm in wars that I was never supposed to be in to begin with. We are tearing each other apart with people because this is a woman. The least you can do is respect her, okay? The least you can do is understand that it could happen to your sister, your child in the future. It could happen to you as some traditional woman that is trying to judge this girl. Like, you do not know. You get my point. So yeah, that's my principle. You will listen to me one way or another. You will block me, and now X will even make sure you see my things, even if I blocked you, you will get the message. We will talk about these things: uncomfortable, painful, stressful, hurtful. We will have these conversations, because if we don't, who will?
Yeah, maybe just a quick one. From that whole conversation, you all you have is how Praise said, people are sexualizing fights that you're putting out there. You're putting out something genuinely standing for a cause, and people are coming at you, this woman needs to heal, or this is because, you don't have a man in your life, or a father, or, something like that. And for me, it brings me to the question of, this fight has been going on for forever. Are there any results? Like, are there times when you see it and you're like, oh, I think people have started respecting women, or people have, or are we still, is the bar still too low?
The bar is still too low, my friend. But I will actually make you laugh. So usually when I talk about things like be a present dad, be a better man, and those things, people usually think that, oh, she is saying those things because she is so hurt. Absent dad. Guys, I have the most present father ever. Like, I'm not kidding.
Actually, like when you do it, I'm like, your father must be so. Then you pop something.
I'm like, boss, I cannot relate, okay? I cannot relate. I have a dad who gives me the biggest, best hugs in the world. I have a dad who, I call him and he picks up the phone call and goes, hi, my daughter. Like, that's his response, okay? I have a dad, if we're walking up the hill, he holds my hand because I might sleep.
Yeah.
Okay? I have a dad who, after a phone call, will tell me, I love you. The reason I will not take bare minimum, stupid, reckless, and all that is because I have had a better example.
Wow.
Okay? The standard is up there. Okay? So when I tell you, be a present dad, it's not because I didn't have one. It's majorly because I was raised by one. I know how it feels.
Yeah.
I want other children to have that. Like, everyone deserves. Okay. Of course, there's instances where you can't have it because you lost your dad, blah blah blah. But you shouldn't be deprived of that under normal circumstances. Yeah. So when people say, "Oh, heal," I'm like, I cannot relate. I'm sorry. I cannot. Unfortunately for you, I do not know what the hell you're talking about, because me, my father, I am his world. Okay. My daughter replaced me, sort of, but under normal circumstances, I am his world. That is why I know I have experienced how genuine a man must be. You cannot tell me you were so busy to visit your child, okay? You cannot tell me that you were so busy to do this. You cannot tell me, oh, you're so much in your masculine energy that you feel like you need to put your hands on a woman, okay? It does not make sense. Now, the sexualizing bit, it is very, very, very sad and painful that I have to say I am actually used to it.
Yeah, I know.
That when you're walking into a space, you're not walking into the space with that open mind, or this could be an okay space. You're walking into a space knowing someone is going to say something, okay?
Can I say something funny?
Yeah.
A friend of mine recently wrote on her Twitter, following the whole, South African movement stuff about the sad rape, of that little girl. And then there were more stories coming up from Zambia, all these other places. And she said, you know what? I think men should start their life from prison and work their way out of it. So when you say when you enter a room, you're ready.
Actually, it is sad that when it does not happen, I am shocked that, oh, wait, oh,
It's not bad.
you didn't. And like when a man starts talking to me, I am waiting for it, okay?
Yeah.
I am waiting for the moment. And like when the moment happens, I'm like, there we go. Yeah, there we go. But like when it doesn't, I'm like, oh, you didn't want. Like, let me tell you, men will abuse you online. Don't bring your things online, and then they'll come to your DM and be like, hey, I would like to be a father to your kid. I will pay the school fees. I'm sorry, I'm not looking for school fees, okay? Can we understand that there is something bigger than you getting into my pants and giving me school fees, and focus on the idea that men should look after their kids? Crown is not yours, okay?
Yeah.
Their kids. Like, why are you mad that I'm talking about this? I'm not mad at the person that's not looking after their child. That it's okay. Me, I can step in, okay? I will. Let's get into a relationship, and I will
Creepy, yeah? What men can do for sex.
big man, this is not what we are looking for. Let's get serious, okay? That is like the sexualizing bit. It's like sad that I am so used to it. It does not shock me when I talk to a man and the first thing they're saying, you can be my wife. I'm like, boss.
I think that
What do you mean? First of all, when you tell me you see your children in me, men think it's a compliment. Me, you're practically threatening my entire existence.
Yeah.
What do you mean you're seeing your kids in me? You get my point. But I'm used to it. The sexualizing, the, oh, you heal, oh, you've not moved on. Hey, you're mad because he got married. Oh, you're mad because, no, honey, I am not mad that he's married. You get, like, don't degrade me like that, okay? This is something important. Like, people will tell me, but your child has school fees. I know, I pay it. I know she has school fees. But does that mean
the other person should roam around free?
you get my point? Like, my child does not lack, okay? I'm not complaining because my child slept hungry. She did not. I am saying, do better.
Yeah.
It should not be, ewa webagaga. You know,
Yeah. Like
the child.
when do they make it about you? Like it's a whole advocacy for other women out there.
But
There's something else that you asked that I had forgotten about. So I kept telling people I truly, truly underestimated what I was doing or myself. Okay. And like for a very good time, I would just talk about things, and then girls, women would come to my DM and tell me, oh, this is what I'm going through, this is what I'm dealing with, or I was sexually assaulted. And like, I would just like find a way to help, like, oh, I'm so sorry you were sexually assaulted. Let's look for, PEP, let me get you a therapist, let me help you this way. Oh, I just gave birth, but my baby daddy is not, doing this or this. And I'll be like, oh, let me just send you like a 20K for, say, porridge, or it's okay, let's find a way to. And it became like a part of my everyday life, that it stopped being like a shocking thing or a word. And I did not realize that actually when I'm doing these things, it's actually like really creating some impact in people's lives.
Yeah.
Until like people started inviting me for talks, and I'm like, wait, why do you want me? And they're like, you don't know? Like, do you know what to do? I'm like, I do not say it. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, it was just 20,000. Like, I just bought porridge for 20,000. And the person was like, no, you changed someone's life, or you got someone a lawyer, and oh my God, like, you don't know what you did for them. I'm like,
That is the impact.
yeah,
Impact is not having an organization.
Exactly. I was talking to my friend Patrick, and I don't remember what they had invited me for, and I was telling him, can you believe? Like, this is insane. Why do they want me? And then he was telling me, oh, you don't see it. I'm like, I do not see it. And it's like, you have no idea what you're doing. You don't know, like, first ignore how much people will tear you apart, and like, first focus on the women that you get to deal with every day. Talk to, connect to, a therapist, a lawyer, a police person to help them out. Like, first look, I was shocked. So yeah, I think, it's very the impact is very minimal. But for me, I appreciate it because that's something in a country where you will barely get one win. Okay, like in a country where you even that smallest, like the smallest thing, like when one woman will text me and be like, hey, you will not believe we sent this man and a letter over the intention to sue letter, and he sent school fees. I want to throw a party. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's something. Thank you. You get like, so I think, yeah, the scale is still bottom barrel, but we celebrate those little wins and focus on those as.
It's not actually small impact. It's just because you do not have a board where you tell everyone, if I've impacted you, come and tick here. You get that? And it's just a few who come in and they're like, take that step, and they say, let me reach out to this girl. Yeah. But me, it's just important to have conversations and normalize them. Yeah. You get that? The fact that deadbeats just can't walk about, and they know that, oh yeah, she's coming. Yeah. Trust me, there is that woman down there who is not going to come into your DM because she's like, hey mama, I will go into her DM and she even doesn't ever reply. But maybe you put in her that strength to stand up for something she actually believes in. Or you see, and when you're under certain circumstances, sometimes it's just so heartwarming, strengthening to know that someone else is going through something similar, has been through there, and they have overcome. Yeah. You know that? Or someone is holding space for you, you get? Because by now, any sane person would know that Crown has everything she would need. You know, she's one of the most pampered children in Uganda. But
you're over-pushing it?
No, I'm not. But this is a woman out of her comfort zone. Like, she would choose to ignore this man to oblivion. I know. To oblivion. Like, and all we shall ever know about him is he takes the photos, he takes or does everything. But she's trying to tell these women that we can't do the things our mothers did, you know? And some mothers walked out of these situations, but most mothers stayed in these situations as toxic as they were. But we can't do that. Someone has to come and disrupt, you know? And this is like a ripple effect. And like I said, it's not the big impact that maybe big, oh my God, the world changed and there are no more deadbeats. But I'm sure there are men, when they think twice, they buy condoms, they buy the after pills, and exactly.
We're not doing this.
Yeah, so we may not have somewhere where people tick. If Mutuzo impacted on your life this year, come and tap here and check this box. Maybe you should create a group of folk. That would be so nice.
Talking about wins and the things that our mothers did, I just wanted to shift the conversation a little to the political context. You have people that were fighting every day, the Miriam Matembes, to have women represented in these places. And like from Mutuzo's submission, you realize the bar is low, is really still low. When she tells you when she walks into a room full of men, she expects, and if it doesn't happen, She's shocked. Yeah. So, are there results of the work that these people did? Can we quantify those results? And maybe say, yeah, now we have representation of women in parliament from every district. That's a step. Are there things you look at and you're like, this is a step?
Yeah, for me, there are quite a number of them. Though I'm going to give like the positive side and the negative side. Let me start with the positive side. One, for example, we have things like affirmative action, where girls, for example, joining the university are given some extra points. It may be seen as something small, but if you go check currently, statistic-wise, there are more females than males in that most universities. Makerere, I'll speak for Makerere University. Yes, we can have another conversation of, okay, where do all these women go post-university, which feeds into the grander scheme of the patriarchy and stuff like that. But that was an effort. Yes, we have women MPs. Now we can go into questioning if they're doing what they're supposed to do. But the whole idea that there is a place that is let aside for a woman to occupy, intentionally for a woman to occupy, in and of itself shows achievement. You also look at, for example, women joining school. Look at the few women who were there before, not because schools were not there really, they were open, everyone could join, but girls were just keeping out of school, but women going down to these grassroots and encouraging these girls to go to school, giving them some sort of purpose, So yes, we have issues, period poverty, girls are out, blah, 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 but at least we have those wins, we can count them. We have bold women like Mutuzo, we have, those women, not even long ago, like 60 years ago, could not do the things that Mutuzo is doing now. They could never do those things. So this whole feminist journey is like building a block upon which more blocks are built until people understand that a woman is a human being. Like, see me walk into this room and you don't, she's a woman, okay, she can't, like when you see me as a woman, you're not thinking I'm not competent intellectually, I'm weak, I should be taken advantage of. No. Like when you see me, see it the same way you would see a man walking into a room. Until maybe you go to biological differences, like we want to give birth and a woman will give birth, but that also could even change with technology and stuff like that. So yes, there are those wins. However, some of these opportunities, due to things like patronage, corruption, bad governance, have fallen into the hands of wrong women. For example, I usually say that it hurts me so much when I see a woman being a corrupt member of parliament. Like, come on, sister. The money the money you're stealing, first of all, that money you're allocating money in a budget and you're giving that small to the medical sector, yet we are screaming here every day, girls need free pads the way they give free condoms everywhere.
As judging debate last week, and a child said, you see those women that are being corrupt, they are being women in male-dominated fields.
Oh, like that.
But you see, yeah. But for me, I feel like, and by the way, just so we know, I also make that joke. I would be like, women. But to the serious side, I don't think those are the male-dominated fields we would want to be in. You get my point? Like, sorry, I'm interrupting, but I'll probably forget what I wanted to say. But my biggest problem with the political scene, women in the political scene in Uganda, like you said, we are giving the positions to the wrong women.
Yeah.
Like, I look forward to the day where the women in these political offices are not patriarchal, because most people think when we're talking about patriarchy, we're just talking about men.
Yeah.
But like, there's women that are
they hold the
patriarchy. I didn't want to say the word pick me, but like there are those women, not what they hold, like they're the foundation. You get like they're giving it the strength. Like, woman, we are fighting, okay? We are fighting for better period health. We are fighting for women to be able to give birth and no one dies and no baby dies. We are fighting to have a better NICU. We are fighting to have better antenatal health. You get my point. And then there's you that is saying, if you don't give birth by 30,
Yes,
you're useless. You're useless.
Yeah.
Where does
And
this...
you're in a position of influence.
And you're in a position of influence. I mean, I'm not trying to attack anyone or mention names, but you're in a position of influence. You are in a position where you are supposed to protect children and women. And this is you telling women that you're supposed to protect, that, listen, if you have not given birth by 30, you're practically useless. Where does that leave a woman who got married and she has failed
to give
to
birth?
give
But
birth?
you can put that aside. You know how most of the girls struggle through the education system? Now,
Yeah.
what if I'm 30 when I'm still in my first year in the university?
I am going to be
Yeah,
30
so what
when
should
I am
I do?
in third year at
Exactly, what are you trying to
university.
tell me?
Like, you get my point, that you're feeding into beliefs and habits that are made to be against women, and you are a woman, that I will use your words as a man to practically
down.
pester other women. Like, I am fighting with infertility, I am fighting, like, we know we have
mom guilt,
PCOS,
with-
blah blah blah, all those things, and there is a woman saying, if you've not given birth by 30, useless.
Yeah, you're useless.
There's women that just don't want to have children. I have friends, I mean, they could have children, they can't,
love
they
children,
they
they
love
love
children,
no?
they just
Yeah.
don't want to have children. And here we are with a woman in a position of influence saying, if you don't do this, this is happening, like, you're going to be useless or whatever. In this era, there's kids that are in senior 4 that have phones. My child hasn't, I mean, she doesn't have access to X or like that kind of social media. She's very limited to YouTube Kids, you
Yeah.
get. But like, at some point it could happen, and this is the message they are seeing, that by 30 you have to have, you're putting undeserved pressure on women. Pressure that I am willing to appreciate is study hard. By 30, make sure, you get my point. Make sure your independence, make sure financially you're in a better position. By 30, let's make sure you've stacked up those degrees or books or whatever. By 30, if the degrees have failed, let's look at business-wise, what can you do? Creatively, what can you do? Why are you tying women's success to marriage, children, which are both, by the way, tied back to men?
Yeah.
You get?
Like, what's your role as a woman in regards to the existence of another man?
So you are basically saying, without this man, who will help me to achieve marriage, and I am pointless.
Yeah.
That's not the message you're supposed to be receiving. You're in parliament, or I don't know how many districts we have in Uganda now. I think every time I sleep and wake up, we have like a new one. And that district will have to have a woman MP. And you're in parliament, you're all sleeping, and there's a woman MP saying, removing the whole marital rape out of a bill. But then we also have no pads, and they are saying, yeah, guys, we cannot really give you guys pads. But then, like the whole system, you are the woman that brought, that toppled this marriage bill. One would believe it would be at the very least so much in favor of. But then, like, you basically, the female leaders, at least most, are just like holding the
patriarchy. Because you see now, still back to politics. When we speak about policies, you see now, like that marriage bill, and these are the leaders we have, these are the leaders we have. You're passing a bill that is affecting cohabiting couples, yet the largest percentage of people in cohabiting relationships are women. Like, where does it place a woman when you say, if you're passing out as a married person, we are going to come and arrest you and do this? Or what is she supposed to do? Beg the man to marry her, do something? So the laws are not made to respect the reality of a Ugandan woman at the end of the day. You look at, for example, and things, because like I spoke in the first thing, there's always an intersectionality. If political prisoners are being tortured, female political prisoners are most likely to achieve worse. If you talk about military, like women, by virtue of the fact that they've been marginalized for such a long time, are going to face a deeper form of oppression than that oppressed bracket. But when they call people to vote for bills like the one they were voting for after the the court-martial judgment, all women, none ever stands up to say, no, me, I have refused, I've done this. And for me, it's not, they usually say that sometimes when feminists, we speak up about our fellow women, we do not appreciate the need to protect them in these places because the patriarchy is beating down on them. But I think there's a point where we sit and reflect and realize, no, sister, you're not oppressed the way, the power you have as a speaker of parliament, at least resign protesting. I don't know if you get what I mean. Yeah. Resign saying, I'm not going to have this conversation on ABCD because of this, or this, or that, or that. But, for example, they're giving handsheets to people in Karamoja. And trust me, if you make your research, there are more women affected because men are running up and about going to drink, because I come from close to Moroto there. They are going to drink, they are it's you, a woman at home raising the kids. It's you, the woman, who needs the house to stay with the children, because the man will hardly be there. And then a woman prime minister, together with women members of parliament, together, I know, are the ones saying, I think this is good for my goats and cows. It's that kind of like, so we have seen the actions, we have seen, we appreciate them, but women have failed to take up this opportunity, and not even failed, because there are women out there doing the actual work, but the whole system is built to fail them. It's like, I'm going to borrow the youth inclusion thing, where they say, we have put youth, but you check the youth that are in political positions of power, how much power do they actually have at the end of the day? So it does not matter if we have 10,000 women MPs, but those women MPs holding those positions are women that are government apologists, a government that is heavily patriarchal. Because if you look at the number of women, for example, that die giving birth, if there was an opportunity to increase the budget of this medical, situation in this country, you don't even think twice. You'll be like, all the money there, let it go there. So when you see a patriarchal-centric kind of budget, it reflects a lot, on how these different positions being held by women, blah, 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 are being used at the end of the day, not really to serve the interests of women.
How do we position ourselves to get out of this system?
Okay, this is a thing I say, not even just for women-related issues. This is a thing I say for all issues in this country. We need to first come to the realization that the change we desire is not going to come from people in political positions. Because for the past 40 years, they have successfully proven to us that we are not their business. You get? Okay. They can't do it for reasons best known to themselves. So everyone has the duty to use the power that they have in whatever means to, one, speak up about the issues affecting them or the issues affecting other people, and to try and build solutions around those issues. You get? So this is what it looks like. It looks like a Mutuzo whom no one ever knew. She doesn't have a Gambanogo in the government, but she realizes, okay, I maybe could start a conversation on ABCD, and they start that conversation. You get? It takes a Nora somewhere who we would have never known, realizing, oh, there is a march to parliament. Let me start mobilizing people to come and march to parliament. You get? That initiative. Because no matter how many times we change the people in these political positions, if us as citizens, we do not stand in our power and hold these leaders accountable, same budgets will be passed in and out. And, if we don't all come together, we alienate, we make it easy for whoever is against women to target these few women who stand up. Now, if every day it's Mutuzo coming to tell us about deadbeats, and it's the very Mutuzo we abuse, we break, But imagine there were like 50 women who were devoted as Mutuzu. 50 Mutuzos out there, you know. Imagine how hard it would be. You get? Imagine there were like 50 praises out there, you know, women willing to stand on the front line. 50 Agathas, 50, pick out all the women, you know, Miriam Matembes, those women who are not going to take a no for one answer. When it speaks to issues of women representation, when it speaks of issues of women's, access to things like medical care, education, stepping up in political positions, we need that, because for so long we have thought, okay, let's vote this person into power, they'll come and do something different, but they don't. They do the same. So these are our problems. The women we are forcing to see our problems do not experience these problems. You understand? Yeah. If Anita, I don't even know where she gave birth from, they could have flown. That's if she was the pregnant one. She could even maybe afford a surrogate mother. I don't know. You get? You don't have access to that. And no hate or shade to her babies. But as her babies look healthy every day, it's you with your baby that is malnourished, who was not, in your community. So these people are so far away. And unlike how Mutuzo is, they are not empathetic. They cannot even say, okay, I'm not experiencing it, but can I step in the shoes of this mother who is being beaten up by this man and raped by her husband every day, and start a conversation in parliament on things like marital rape? You get? But they don't relate. They don't care. They are not empathetic about it. It doesn't make sense to them. And if it doesn't make sense to them, to hell with you. So as I conclude, we need to understand that these are our issues, and it's high time we solve them for ourselves. But also being truthful to ourselves. For example, anyway, we need to educate people too. Because we may be here having these conversations and we're like, oh, Anita. And yet Anita, when she goes back to her village, her constituency, she does the bare minimum, maybe gives out plastic cups, and the people are like, oh my God, she's the best. She has done this for her. She puts up a private school and we are celebrating a private school. What do you mean? Give more money in the education sector. Why are you putting first a private school to come and enrich you the more? You get that? Why are you putting up a stadium? Why are you putting up a hospital? What do you mean? Where are we going to come and pay money? Like, these are their business schemes and stuff like that. So we need to also educate people to be able to step in this power, to show them the gaps, to show them the how. Because like yesterday, I was having a meeting with someone, working in the human rights space, and he said people know their problems, but sometimes they don't know how to phrase these problems and phrase the solutions around these problems. Yeah. So, for example, I know I don't have a pad. I didn't go to school because I don't have a pad. But who is to blame? Is it me? Is it the government? Or maybe I'm just broke and there are rich people out there. My parents didn't work hard enough. Exactly. People don't know that they deserve these things. They don't know this is your right. Your right. You get that? But also, lastly, this is the real last one. Exactly. I feel like many girls don't have purpose yet. Like, they are, every day in their life, like, the patriarchy is being shoved down, They do not. What do you mean you are going to be the president? You've never seen a female president. You get that? And I'm not telling you, first get out of Central, come down to my village, Paris are there, where girls willingly leave school to get married. Willingly. Like, I can't wait to get married. And we are speaking of a P7 child. Yeah, a P7 girl.
They've been trained to think.
They've been trained. Marriage is the prize. And now when you add women in places of influence, like Tuza said, not tell you by that, your ovaries will be closed. Exactly. So you find these girls don't have dreams. They don't have purpose. Because for me,
actually, I don't think they don't have purpose or they don't have dreams. I think they do have purpose and they do have dreams, but their purpose and dreams are centered around what they have been taught, what they have been shown, what they have grown up looking at. Because I grew up with a dad saying you have to study. You get my point? Like, when I got pregnant, I don't know, for a minute there I thought my best friend was never going to talk to me because this man was so mad.
Yeah.
He could not, like, he was like, how could you? You're throwing away your education. Like, how could you? You were supposed to, get degree. Then, like, those things come later. Okay. And even when I got pregnant, I gave birth. Like, it stayed at the back of my mind that, yeah, I have given birth and all, but at some point, I have to have this degree.
Yeah.
Okay. And like, he never stopped reminding me, by the way. Like, I know we got a problem there, but you have
Get
to,
back on track.
okay, you have to organize yourself. You cannot, in this country, you cannot be a woman that did not go to school.
Yeah.
I had to go back to school because, like, I had to go back to school. Like, if it's not for me, if it's not for me, it will be for him, but I have to go back to school. Now, we are Kisoro in the hills, like where is no road, okay, and no tapped water, where this girl grows up, since the mom was giving birth by age 15. Okay, that's the normal. That is her purpose, that is her goal, and she has been told your purpose is to please this man. Your purpose is to have children. Your purpose is to be a good wife. Whether you removed your eye, your purpose is to be a humble, kneel down, serve your man food, submit.
Yeah.
And yeah, they have goals, they have purposes, they have dreams, but
What is the
what's the opposite? Like what's the opposite? What do they know? What can they reference to say, I would like to be Miriam Mateme. I would like to be Winnie.
How do we create a scenario where, yes, I may not be Mutuzo's dad's child, but in my life, how many times do I interface people who show me the greater picture?
Maybe if you could complete your point. I don't know if you had finished, then I'll get to Mutuzo. You were
Let
done?
me complete it and then we'll go
In
to
a few seconds.
whom I will intentionally interrupt so I get some part of it.
I want to hit you.
Yeah, so I was saying, just tying it to what you're saying. I like that you corrected that. Yes, these girls have dreams, they have passions, they have goals. But what is the quality of these goals?
Yeah.
And this will lead me to my disappointment that I have in organizations that purport to be feminist centric, trying to solve the problems of girls, When you meet this girl, do you meet her at her level? Do you make it really? When you go to talk to her, do you go with a savior mentality of, this, or do you? I said this yesterday. Now I feel like I don't know how to speak it, to put words to it. But when you meet these girls, as your hand has this free hand, do you speak to the soul of that young girl to dream bigger, to see things in a different perspective? That Mutuzo walked into the school, they gave us pads, they talked to us about rape and blah, blah, blah. But in doing that, she empowered me that even, yes, when I don't have a pad today, I'm not going to go sleep with a guy to get that. Like, I'm going to try to think outside the box and, do that kind of thing. So inspiring the girls, educating ourselves as women to know what the patriarchy, because some people don't know what the patriarchy is, and they find themselves unaware that they are holding the system of the patriarchy. But also, how do we forget that we have leaders in positions of political, and not forget doesn't mean do not hold them responsible, but that means as you hold them responsible, even holding them responsible is realizing that you have a role to play, to hold them accountable. But beyond holding them accountable, what systems are you building for yourselves to ensure that, women out there in the political sphere, as activists going to the street to protest, blah, 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 have a safe space, have a place where they can be heard, which is not invaded by men and stuff like that. You have something to ask me?
No.
Okay.
Thank you, Praise. I will ask Mutuzo. Praise talks about how everyone has a role to play, and she talks about the individual responsibility, but also talks about the policy makers. And from your earlier conversation of how it is now normal for you you expect it when you walk into a room that this is going to happen, or when you put up a tweet, you expect the comments are going to be a certain way. Do you have hope of a day when this does not happen? If that hope is there, how do we get there? Could there be a day when you put up a tweet and people look at you for being a Mutuzo that is standing up for a cause, and not a Mutuzo that is, hurt, that needs to heal? Is that day going to come, and how do we get there?
I don't know. I mean, I have the hope. I just don't know if that day will come or I will still be alive to see it. But I'll say this. I need women to get angrier. Okay? I need angry. And when I say angry, I'm not saying shoot the other person, but I need women to be angry so that men know that one, you don't cross her, okay? Or you. Now, me, that's the image I have, okay? People, like, I meet people and I'm talking to them in a normal, humble way, and they are like, oh, you're not fighting 24/7. You don't back like you're talking normally. I need women to get angrier. And when I say angrier, it means you're not taking the bare minimum. If you cannot look after your child, I will hold you accountable. If it takes me to my grave, it is okay. I want women to be that angry. I want women to be angry that as a woman, when you come to campaign to me, that you want to be my representative, and you have been there, you cannot go back if you are not helping the woman, okay? I cannot. Like me, I would rather be the only one that didn't vote for you, okay? And I will tell it to you straight to your face that I'm sorry, I cannot vote for you because you don't do this and this. I need women to be angry to the extent that no man will beat you and you say, I need you to be angry, okay? I need you to be furious. Like, do not accept it. Do not take it. I need women to be angry that when a woman goes to parliament and tables a bill that you know for a fact is going to work against you, hold that woman accountable. Hold that woman accountable. And I keep getting the realization that like initially this conversation was supposed to be intergenerational. You get, there's going to be very few women that are in the past generation that are going to do these things for us, okay? And most of the time they have access to the younger generation. That means they have the ability to pass on that to this, okay?
When you're here,
exactly, like now, Praise and I will know we have our rights. This is how it works. We know that a man will not talk to me a certain way. I know that I will hold you accountable, Edmund. I know that if you touched me a certain way, I will slap you. Okay? And there's no man that will hug me and touch my ass because they know they don't do that rubbish with Mutuzo. If we keep quiet, if we keep quiet and we let this generation
interface
with this generation, it is coming back, okay? It is coming back. And we need to break the connect. Like me, I keep saying, like, we need to break that what is it called? The chain. Like, we need to, it should not, like, this needs to go away. It needs to die with. And I'm not saying this in a bad way, that I'm saying, oh, die, blah, 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 blah.
There is no good way to say it.
Exactly. But it needs to go away. It needs to go away. Like me, I mean, I am blessed to have a mom who's in this generation, but does not exactly think like this generation. I'm okay with her having my child because I know she will teach my child the things that I believe in, that I got from her. But I will not. You cannot tell my child to do certain things and I let you have it.
Yeah.
I will tell you immediately in front of her like, Crown, we do not do that. Okay? A boy does not talk to you like that. If a boy does come and tell mommy, we'll go to school and beat the boy up. Okay? We do not, and she has grown up to know that me as Crown,
You don't talk to me.
you don't talk to me like that, man or woman, or I don't know. You do not. If we are having this generation telling this generation, no, when they talk to you like that, we will not stop it. And it needs to stop because it has taught us to be okay with the bare minimum.
Yeah.
It has taught us to be
Yeah,
comfortable in our pain. Like we are comfortable in our pain. You know, you're supposed to have cramps, but it's not the government's fault. You know, because there's a time we were talking about girls receiving pads, and there's so many men on Twitter that were saying, you want the government to even buy for you pads. They buy for you condoms.
Yeah.
Don't you use them?
And mostly
They buy-
they are male condoms.
I've never
Very
seen a
few
female
times.
condom anywhere, personally.
Yeah. Even
And
me,
like I know what it
that
looks
men
like.
are, yeah.
I know you can go to a pharmacy and buy one or a hospital. I have never seen a female condom anywhere. Yeah, I go to Mook halls and there's those things on the wall and they are always full. Like you go in the morning and it's full, in the evening it's empty. No, I've actually only seen that thing in Siberia. I don't go to many. But you get my point. The government gives you condoms. The government gives you condoms. You could abstain. You could
Like you have a
test.
choice
You have
how to
options.
do this, yeah.
I do not. I cannot tell my uterus, don't bleed
wait
this
for
month.
my next
Wait for it. Cannot happen. You get. I need women to get angrier, because if you're angry, you will question. If you're angry, you will hold accountable. If you're angry, you will refuse. If you're angry, you will say no to certain things. You will not take certain things because they came and gave you a plastic cup and a basin and you're giving someone your vote. What do you mean? You get, so for me, my God.
Yeah, I think it's time to get angrier. Well, thank you so much, Praise and Mutuzo, for joining us to have this conversation. Well, I think this is not a conversation that just stops here from the things that we pick from this conversation. It's a conversation that we should extend, not just on social media, to reach out to, that girl in the village, that girl down there that needs this information. Yeah, and tell them to be angrier and also to do something for themselves to break the system. My name is Edmund Ayesigwa Akankwata. This has been the Gentech. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to like, subscribe, share, and let's keep...
Send to your woman MP.
Oh yes. But thank you so much for watching. Until the very next time, we are out.